With the NFL draft just about a month away, it's about time I do my first mock draft for all 32 picks in the 2021 first round. I'll make another mock as we get closer to the draft, but here's my official March edition of the 2021 NFL mock draft. The first pick in the 2021 NFL draft does belong to the Jacksonville Jaguars, who went 1-15 in 2020. They just hired head coach Urban Meyer. This pick is pretty solidified. Every other pick, I feel like you can make a justification for where it's going to go, but this one's just too plain and obvious. It's going to be quarterback Trevor Lawrence out of Clemson. If you want to go see more about him, I did a film reaction and review on him. Go check that out on the channel. But number one overall, Trevor Lawrence. The second overall pick will also go to a team with a new head coach. Robert Saleh takes over the dysfunctional Jets, who have not made the playoffs since the 2010 season, coming fresh off of a 2-14 season. In this pick, there's some differences here. Some people believe Sam Darnold can still be the quarterback there. It was Adam Gase that was the problem. And while I won't negate that Gase was a problem, I don't think Sam Darnold's that great. My pick here is Zach Wilson. You already know I think he's the best in the class if you watch the channel. He's an absolute stud, and I think he would turn this franchise around. Zach Wilson, number 2. The third overall pick right now belongs to the Miami Dolphins, who acquired this pick in the Laramie Tunsil trade to the Houston Texans. So while the Miami Dolphins actually went 10-6 this past season, they're going to be able to pick third because the Houston Texans went 4-12, and there's a variance of places the Dolphins could go with this pick. Really, it's either going to be a playmaker for Tua or an offensive lineman to protect Tua, or they could just shock the entire NFL and take a quarterback to replace Tua after his rookie season, in which he did get benched 2 times. My pick here, since they added Will Fuller in free agency, is that they are going to pick up some offensive line help and take Penei Sewell here at number 3, offensive lineman out of Oregon. The fourth pick in this year's draft belongs to the Atlanta Falcons, who had a miserable 2020 season that involved continuous choking, just some unbelievable ways that they lost some games. It resulted in the firing of Dan Quinn, who had taken them to a Super Bowl when they ironically choked in that game. And they hired former Titans offensive coordinator Arthur Smith, and a lot of people here have been thinking they're going to take a quarterback. Matt Ryan's getting up there in age, but I don't see it happening. I think that they need to address the defense. So here with the fourth pick, I have them taking Micah Parsons, linebacker out of Penn State, can really do it all. He's not that great of a coverage linebacker, but other than that, he's absolute great linebacker. You would want him on your team. Falcons take Micah Parsons. The fifth pick in this draft belongs to the Cincinnati Bengals, who I think everyone kind of thinks are going to take a tackle, going to take someone to protect Joe Burrow. And while that wouldn't be a bad pick, I think with the top guy off the board in Penei Sewell, they see Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow's former teammate, on the board and say, losing A.J. Green, that connection would be pretty nice. So here at number 5, I don't think they can resist to take him. Jamar Chase goes to the Bengals. The sixth pick in this draft belongs to the Philadelphia Eagles, who had a terrible 2020 season. Honestly, a huge surprise. I thought Carson Wentz was the franchise guy. Obviously, they didn't when they took Jalen Hurts. It was just an absolute catastrophe. Doug Peterson's out the door. Honestly, Howie Roseman can't be hanging on much longer if he doesn't get his act together. I mean, last year they took Jalen Reagor over Justin Jefferson. This year, I do not think they take a quarterback here. I think they take Kyle Pitts, tight end out of Florida, who honestly plays more like a wide receiver. Zach Ertz, their current tight end, is looking for a trade opportunity, looking to get out of Philly, so it makes sense to replace him here at 6. 7 is the Detroit Lions, who basically overhauled everything. They got rid of Kenny Golladay. They got rid of their head coach, Matt Patricia. They got rid of Matthew Stafford. It's basically a complete revamp. They brought in Jared Goff. It's obviously a new era in Detroit. And that's why I don't think they take a quarterback here because of the acquisition of Jared Goff. I think they wait another year to do that. I think they try and get Goff some help this year and pick Devontae Smith, the Heisman winner here. Personally, I don't think he's the best wide receiver or the second best wide receiver in this class, to be completely honest. But there's no denying he's a big play threat and he's dynamic, and Detroit goes and gets him. The 8th pick belongs to the Carolina Panthers, who desperately need a quarterback. Teddy Bridgewater is not getting the job done anymore. It's a talented offense. Of course, you've got Christian McCaffrey. And if they're not able to pull off a trade for a guy like Deshaun Watson or Russell Wilson, then they're going to need to address this position in the draft. I believe they take Ohio State quarterback Justin Fields here. I think it's a great pick, a great fit, and Joe Brady's going to have him doing big things in Carolina. The 9th pick belongs to the Denver Broncos, who you could argue are back in the market for a quarterback, but I doubt they go quarterback here at 9. I think they give Drew Lock another chance with a healthy Cortland Sutton this year. I think they really need a corner. Last year's edition of A.J. Boy really did not do enough. I think here they take Patrick Surtain II. I think between him and Caleb Farley, there's really no wrong pick if they're both on the board. The Cowboys own the 10th pick, and they need a corner even worse than the Broncos did, so they'll take the next best available player, in my opinion, if this is the way the draft unfolds, that being Caleb Farley, corner out of Virginia Tech. But if Caleb Farley was taking a pick earlier, I would say they take Surtain here. You get the gist. Just swap, whatever happens. The 11th pick in the draft belongs to the New York Giants, and there's a couple of different areas they could go here. I think they could either go with offensive line, defensive end, or even a wide receiver here. I don't think they would go quarterback here. Dave Gettleman's always a tough one to find out. If I had to project where they go here, I think they go defensive end, Gregory Rousseau, out of Miami. I think they need help on the pass rush. They just signed Leonard Williams to a big extension. If they can get someone beside him, it would very much help their defensive line. The 12th pick belongs to the San Francisco 49ers, and I have them making a big move here, taking Trey Lance, quarterback out of North Dakota State. I think they're frustrated with Garoppolo's injury problems. I don't think that they view anyone else on the open market as the solution. I think they try and draft the guy and breed him. Listen, if Garoppolo gets hurt again this year, I think they just put Trey Lance in, give him the keys. You can tell Kyle Shanahan feels he has a limitation at quarterback. Trey Lance is a dynamic player who does not turn the football over. I'm going to make a video on him soon, a draft profile, so stay tuned for that. The 13th pick is the Los Angeles Chargers, who for sure found their franchise quarterback in Justin Herbert, but now they need to protect him similar to the Cincinnati Bengals, and they are going to be thrilled to see that Rashawn Slater out of Northwestern is still on the board. Great tackle. I don't think Trey Pipkins right now at left tackle is the guy you want to have. They actually went out and signed Corey Linsley. They also have Brian Bulaga on the right side, so this would be a big deal if the Chargers were able to get him here at 13. With the 14th pick, the Minnesota Vikings are going to look to get back to the postseason after a terrible year defensively. They're going to add defensive end Kwity Paye from Michigan. Kind of similar to Rashawn Gary, a raw prospect. Didn't put up the numbers you would have liked to see, but he's got some potential, and if you line him up on the opposite side of Danielle Hunter, good things can happen. The 15th pick belongs to New England, and I'm sure that people watching this are screaming, where the hell is Jalen Waddle? Well, this is where he falls. I think this is his absolute floor. If it were me, by the way, if it were me, he'd be the first receiver off the board. Go watch the video I did on him on this channel earlier. I think he's the best wide receiver in the class. However, this is the way I think the draft plays out. I think New England would be thrilled to get him here, add another weapon to an offense that a year ago had nothing. This year would be loaded when you add his speed on top of Nelson Aguilar's, and then Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith as well. Patriots take Jalen Waddle. The 16th pick in this draft belongs to the Arizona Cardinals, who could go a bunch of different directions. I think with this pick, they should go with a linebacker because they lost Hassan Reddick. Jeremiah Cormeo, I don't know how to say your name, I'm sorry. I know you're not listening. Whatever. I think that he's a very versatile linebacker. You can make an argument he's better than Micah Parsons. He's better in coverage than Micah Parsons, that's for sure. And I think that he would help the Cardinals defense and also take some pressure off Isaiah Simmons in year 2. So give me him with this pick. The 17th pick in this draft belongs to the Las Vegas Raiders, who, simply put, a year ago had a miserable defense, and that's exactly where they're going to go with this pick, taking Alabama defensive interior lineman Christian Barmore. He's definitely going to be a step up from whatever they had. They just got ran all over the place last year, thrown all over the place. There's a ton of holes in that defense. We're going to start on the defensive line with their first pick here and try and fix some things. The 18th pick sees our second pick from a team, if that makes any sense. The Dolphins picked 3rd overall in my mock draft, and they took Penei Sewell. Here they're picking 18th, and I think they're going to get Tua, yet another weapon. Give me Rashad Bateman, wide receiver out of Minnesota. I think this is a good receiver class, so they can wait until 18 to address this rather than address it at pick number 3. The now Washington football team holds the 19th pick, and while Mac Jones is sitting real pretty there for them at 19, I think that with the addition of Ryan Fitzpatrick, I think that they just got burned too many times recently with Dwayne Haskins. If they play it safe, take offensive tackle Christian Darrisaw out of Virginia Tech, I think they're going to play this pick safe if this is the way the draft plays. Which leads us into pick number 20, which is the Chicago Bears, which at this point, I mean, they've got Andy Dalton, Nick Foles. I believe they just have to add to the mediocrity. They're going to take Mac Jones here at number 20 because, well, I mean, Ryan Pace is just a quarterback idiot. The Colts pick at 21, and I believe that they need to add another weapon to that offense. Since they acquired Carson Wentz, it's pretty obvious they're not going to pick a quarterback in the first round. I think they take Rondale Moore, a speedy wide receiver out of Purdue, to give Wentz another tool to work with. The 22nd pick belongs to the Tennessee Titans, who are just a year separated from making it to the AFC Championship game. This past year didn't end the way they would like, losing in the wild card. And since they addressed their biggest need in free agency of an outside edge rusher in Bud Dupree, I think they're going to go with an interior guard, Wyatt Davis from Ohio State, to give some more protection to Ryan Tannehill and some better running lanes to Derrick Henry. The New York Jets are back on the clock after picking Zach Wilson second overall, and here with the 23rd pick, I have them taking corner J.C. Horn out of South Carolina. Their secondary wasn't very good a year ago. Nothing really was with the Jets, to be completely honest. Sorry, Jets fans, but this is what they're going to pick with their second pick. With the 24th pick, the Pittsburgh Steelers will take Trayvon Moorhead, a safety out of TCU. Listen, Pittsburgh secondary is going to need some help. I know people are going to want a Ben Roethlisberger replacement. It's just not there at 24. Give me Moorhead for them. The 25th pick belongs to the Jacksonville Jaguars via the Los Angeles Rams. And with this pick, they already got Trevor Lawrence first overall. I'm going to have them take Azeez Ojulari, I believe that's how you pronounce it, defensive end edge rusher out of Georgia. They could really use someone to put on the other side of Josh Allen. This would be a great compliment to him. It's felt extremely weird to do a mock draft and not talk about the Cleveland Browns all the way up until 26, but after a great season, this is where they pick. And to get even better next year, they're going to take Nick Bolton, linebacker out of Missouri, to help their defense. The Baltimore Ravens pick 27th, and with Orlando Brown wanting a trade out of Baltimore, it seems like that's going to get done. They're going to need a replacement if they don't get one via trade. So give me Tevin Jenkins out of Oklahoma State. Very good tackle. There's going to be some teams below them that are pretty salty that they'll get him because it's going to very much boost their run game. The 28th pick will be the New Orleans Saints, who for the first time in what seems like forever will not be moving forward with Drew Brees as he is retired. They did re-sign Jameis Winston. They also have Taysom Hill, so I don't think they'd take a quarterback here at 28. Give me Asante Samuel Jr., a corner out of Florida State, to bolster the defense after losing Janoris Jenkins this offseason. The Green Bay Packers hold the 29th pick in this draft, and they have lost the last two NFC Championship games, so what could get them over that hump to the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl? In my opinion, it's wide receiver Kadarius Toney out of Florida. You give MVP Aaron Rodgers yet another weapon and look out defenses. Give me Toney. Buffalo Bills hold the 30th pick, and if they want to get back to the AFC Championship game, they're going to need to be able to protect their MVP-level quarterback, Josh Allen. So I think they take Elijah Vera Tucker, a tackle out of USC. To be honest, I could see him going a lot higher in the draft, but if he falls here, it's a no-brainer to take him for Buffalo. The AFC champion Kansas City Chiefs hold the 31st pick, and while they could go other directions, if you watch that Super Bowl, you know 100% what their biggest need is. It's offensive line. Even after signing Joe Thuney, re-signing Mike Remmers, and signing Kyle Long out of retirement, I would still argue this is their biggest need. So give me Landon Dickerson, who played center at Alabama. They might lose Austin Ryder this offseason. If not, it'd still be a nice piece to have Landon Dickerson, who is coming off a torn ACL, but was a beast on the field. And with that, we are finally at the final pick of the first round. It's Tom Brady's reigning Super Bowl champion, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And honestly, I don't think they have a huge need. It sounds crazy. There's not one position on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers that I think is a huge need. So I think they just go with a guy they want, Travis Etienne, running back out of Clemson, the only running back that goes in the first round in my opinion. And that will do it for my March edition of the mock draft. If you made it this far in the video, thank you for watching. You don't know how much it means. Put in a lot of time to these videos. If you'd like to leave some suggestions down for next month's mock draft, I would gladly take them. If you want to leave your opinions on some of my picks, I would gladly have a discussion with you. Make sure you subscribe to us and leave a like on this video. It would be greatly appreciated. Peace out.